perform the musical ride here on Parliament Hill the last hour or so for the tourists that are gathered here.
It's interesting, she of course spent the night at Rio Hall, her home in Canada. Sat for a portrait earlier this morning for her Diamond Jubilee. They're already preparing for 2012 and her 60th year on the throne. She had a portrait sitting this morning and then joining us here at Parliament Hill. And that beautiful state landau, which was a gift from a departing Governor General in 1911, and it's kept for processions with the Governor General, what we've seen the past few years, but for the first time in many, the Queen and Prince Philip in it, and the crowd getting a first glimpse of her as she travels down Wellington Street.
And her father, George VI, and her mother, the Queen Mother, were in that same landau in 1939 when they came to Ottawa to officially acknowledge the National War Memorial just off Parliament Hill. And the Queen was last in it on a Canada Day, as you mentioned earlier, 1997. That was quite the summer for the Queen. We all know what happened at the end of that summer and the tragedy that hit the royal family.
Here's through the East Gate, and this is an important part in the day, isn't it?
The Queen's Standard. Queen's Standard up on top of the Peace Tower. The Prime Minister now speaking with Rashmi Nair.
Peter, the Prime Minister has just arrived here on Parliament. I'll send it right back to you.
All right, Rashmi, that's great. Hearing from the Prime Minister, and just as the Queen and Prince Philip arrive on Parliament Hill, and the Queen resplendent in Canada Day red.
You know, it's interesting because I asked the people in the crowd again earlier today what they expected she'd be wearing, and they said it will have to be red and white. And indeed, there she is. 84 years old, with the stamina and the energy of a far younger woman. And of course, let's listen to the crowd.
You know, in many ways, I think it is that stamina and that willingness to be here to take on the agendas, which can be grueling at times, especially for someone of the Queen's age and her husband's age, Prince Philip, 89. The weather was tough in Nova Scotia and it affected the turnout, but gosh, the crowds have been overwhelming here in Ottawa since her arrival yesterday. More than 10,000 at the National Arts Centre in that particular area.
Yes.
To watch her there yesterday, and then today here on Parliament Hill, estimates already at 70,000.
And Stephen Harper is accompanying her along this royal visit, and he looks to be enjoying himself thoroughly, certainly during the International Fleet Review in Halifax, smiling and ebullient, really, and alongside, he was, remember, very quick to make the point that Michael Jean is not the head of state, it is the Queen, very strong in that, and he is enjoying sharing in this royal visit.
So the Queen and the Prime Minister now walking along the red carpet. There will be, as there always is on this day, the moment of the royal salute, usually taken, as you said, by the Governor General, is off in China now, when she's representing the Queen here. But today, the Queen herself, Canada's head of state, on site, ready to take the royal salute, inspect the Guard of Honor, and then sit and relax, and what should be one of the best shows we've seen here in the nation's capital certainly in recent years. They've got quite the lineup of stars. As mentioned, many of them. We'll keep some of them as a surprise for you. I think you're going to be quite impressed.
The Air Command pipes and drums, we should tell you, in the background, performing as they always do at Canada Day. Master Warrant Officer Doug Kraft and the Pipe Major, Sergeant Catherine Buckland, to greet the Queen.
one-gun salute being fired in the background. The Queen will now be invited to inspect the ceremonial guard. Daily here throughout the summer on Parliament Hill, a huge tourist attraction.
The Queen's the Colonel-in-Chief for more than a dozen regiments across Canada, so there are close ties here. And it's interesting, a television journalist from Britain here to cover her visit commented that for all the military reviews she has done, so far as anyone can tell, she still seems to enjoy it. And we'll see that here. She often stops and speaks to the soldiers along the line as well.
Completing the inspection of the Guard of Honor. Be a second royal salute now, this one over Canada, followed almost immediately by a flight past of 4 CF-18s right over Parliament Hill.
Major Miller giving the royal salute. And we're noticing from here the maple leaf brooch that she's wearing on her suit in honor of the occasion.
Salut royal! Presentez! Art! March! Guard will report 3 right. Report 3! Right!
Now, part of the traditional pomp and pageantry here is also the march past. The Guard of Honor will march past. The Queen remains on the saluting platform there. The Air Command Pipe and Drums will play the Maple Leaf Forever, and those 4 CF-18s are out there somewhere.
Here they
due
come.
to fly
We
over.
can
Here
hear
they
them
come.
now. The Queen watched very closely as they flew overhead. Very popular with the crowd, of course. CF Canadian Forces Base, Bagotville, Quebec. They're here from Bagotville.
And the Snowbirds will join the aerial show a little later on during this noon hour celebration. And they always perform with excitement for the crowd. Let's listen to the Air Command Pipes and Drum, the march past for the Queen. Now, the Air Command Pipe and Drums, the Maple Leaf Forever. And with the march past completed, the Queen, the Prime Minister, Prince Philip, and the Harper family, Lorraine Harper and Ben and Rachel.
And there she is receiving flowers. That 7-year-old Katie Gibbons, who's there representing the Brownies of Canada, presenting the Queen with a bouquet of flowers. How many millions of bouquets she must have received over her years on the throne, and she never keeps them. She always gives them to local hospitals. You know how much Queen loves flowers. We saw her at the Chelsea Flower Show earlier this year. Always delighted there, and receiving a bouquet from Katie Gibbons this morning.
You know, and as Terry Molesky pointed out last night, for the thousands of times that she's had that moment, she always seems to make it for every small child who's presenting her flowers, a very special moment.
I think that's one of the things that people have said when they do meet the Queen, and that is there's that moment of connection, just fleeting seconds, but she always finds some way of directly communicating a special meaning for them, and they take away very cherished memories of even a very short meeting.
sticking to the carpet on their way to their seats. When the show's over and they head back, the idea is that she will perhaps be moving towards the crowds and talking to them as well. But let's listen in because the show is about to begin.